What up, nMo fans? This is your boy Alexlexus coming at you with another installment of the blog video series for nMo. Now, going back to the meat and potatoes of the show, I kind of came up with a wish list for Street Fighter X Tekken, which is the Capcom version of the crossover series. Now, without going too in depth, because this will probably be a three-part series, this being the first, of course, and I came up with various matchups, and I'll jump right into it. Now, we know Kazuya and Ryu are gonna be paired up with each other, and all I can say is if they can make that matchup really dramatic, I would like to see that, because you got Kazuya struggling with that whole devil thing going on, and Ryu with Satsui no Hado. It would be interesting to see Kazuya go into devil mode and Ryu having to go into his evil or murderous state to combat his devil form. That would be really interesting. Capcom, please listen. I love a chaotic ending to a rivalry, so that would be something interesting to look at. My teleprompter, the next one I struggled with this matchup. I don't know if it'll work, but you guys, our audience, let us know what you think. I have Ken Masters paired up with Jin Kazama. Now, that could go either way. I mean, it may or may not work, but let me know what you guys think. Again, it's just a wish list. I'm not going to drown that one out. Like, only the ones of major significance that I think really could work, I'm going to spend time on. Alright, so next matchup. This is like bells and whistles right here. Paul Phoenix versus William F. Guile. I would love to see that. Hair versus hair. Who has the better hair and all that stuff. And they can do it like WWE. Whoever loses has to cut their hair or something like that. That'd be interesting. So let me know what you guys think. I mean, Paul is a big bang hitter, and you got Guile, who has the projectile sonic boom, and he's pretty quick, so that can prove for an interesting matchup. Next on the list I have over here is, well, this is kind of what I heard from an interview that was conducted. I saw in game trailers with Harada-san and Ono, and who they wanted to have in their game. I think that Kuma and Zangief are pretty much going to be paired up with each other, considering that Zangief fights bears and got the scars all over his body and all that good stuff. And Kuma, I mean, if they do that matchup, I don't want it to be goofy. Yeah, I mean, I want this game preferably to be really serious and story driven. Like not some how they did in MVC2 where there was virtually no story, and you just knew that Abel and Ruby Heart were the main characters. But moving on, I hope they keep that one serious. If they do have an alternate rival for Zangief, you can have him fighting the Jack Robot from Gen 1, or like somehow do some Mech Zangief thing or whatever. But that remains to be seen. Alright, the next matchup I have here is Jun Kazama versus Chun-Li. Now, the reason why this came to mind is, again, that same interview that they were having after the San Diego Comic-Con. You had a lot of matchups thrown out there, and I think that can work, because Ono is insisting that Harada-san bring Jun Kazama back into the series, because, we're not going to spoil it for those who don't know, but she's not in the series per se right now. But that would be interesting to see those two go at it. So, moving on to the next one I have here, I have Nina Williams versus Crimson Viper. I think that could work. You have an agent versus an assassin. You could have some Femme Nikita thing going on, like two people in their respective organizations doing their thing. So that should be pretty cool. Alright, so the next matchup I have for you fans is this one I'm excited about. I would like to see Forest Law go against Fei Long. That can go any which way. Like, wow, you got the all this good stuff, and you have the flip kick from Law, and you got the Rekka Ken and Rekka Shinken, and Fei Long's counter ultra. and all that. If done right, that can be, something really big right there. So Capcom, Seth Killian, please listen to us. Anyway, moving on to my next wish list matchup is I have, and this was from an nMo fan. So if you visit our website, I do check out a lot of what is sent to me via my private messages. So if you give me comments, I'll definitely address them on the show. But this was courtesy of an nMo member. We have Murdoch in one corner and Abel in the other corner. I would love to see it. They can have a lot of fun with this matchup if done correctly. And if they just go with, like they were saying, just the legacy characters from World Warrior and Gen 1 of Tekken, then you won't see this match. But I think that if they take a little bit of everything, like, salt and pepper here, they just should be good. But I would love to see Murdoch versus Abel. Alright, next matchup on the list is Heihachi Mishima versus Akuma. Originally I had Heihachi Mishima going against Goken, but if they, let's say they somehow pull Jinpachi into the fray, I would have Goken versus Jinpachi and Heihachi Mishima versus, Akuma. Let me know what you think. This is just to, jog a conversation to create the subject matter for part 2 of the series. Alright, so next matchup, Eddie Gordo versus DJ. That would be cool. I would like to see that. You got the Capoeira versus the Sobat, Jamaican kickboxing style, and it can definitely work. And I even know that Ono-san and Harada-san in that same interview kind of mentioned it because they were throwing ideas out there. So that's why I kind of hard coded it into the list that I'm reading to my right. So moving on to the next matchup I have here. I have Steve Fox, the boxer, versus Balrog, Capcom's boxer. Balrog probably has all the advantages in this match. Crazy power, but Steve Fox, he can dip and jive and all that stuff, similar to how you got Dudley and whatnot. But that remains to be seen. That can be very interesting, considering they both contrast in style so drastically. Like, it will be interesting to see who the victor is. Alright, next matchup I have here is I have Raven versus Vega. Ninja versus Ninja, or Spanish Ninja and whatnot. You got the claws versus the disappearing and all that good stuff. I'd like to see it. It may or may not happen. Again, it's a wish list, but if you got any suggestions, leave them below. I will read every last one of the comments. Alright? Next matchup I have here, this is also from an nMo fan. Alright, I have Bruce, kickboxer, versus Sagat. Sagat is the towering mountain of muscle versus, the quick kicks and box style of Bruce. So, let me know what you think what that matchup will end up like. Alright, now, I'm almost done here. We got Haorang, if I'm saying it correctly, I got a little light accent, or Huang, or aka Baek from the original series. Baek got switched out for this new guy, and I have that versus Jury, newer in the series and whatnot. Again, may or may not happen. You got contrasting taekwondo styles and whatnot, and you got Jury with the crazy psycho eye thing going on. So that would be cool. I'd like to see it. Now, this next matchup, I'm gonna try and not get into too much detail. I have Yoshimitsu. It was difficult for me to try and find a matchup for him because I had Blanca in mind, but I just kind of nailed it down to Dawson because he can teleport and all this other good stuff and whatnot. So that'd be interesting. Yoshimitsu versus Dawson. So the next I had Blanca versus Brian Fury. Now, originally I was gonna have Dalsim versus Brian Fury and Blanca versus Yoshimitsu, but I mean you can mix it up either way. I mean, we'll see. But again, Brian Fury is not part of the original Gen 1 series, according to what Capcom and Namco's goal is for this game, but we'll see. Um, the second to last one, we have Bob, Big Man Bob from Tekken versus Rufus. That would be interesting. I'd like to see that. Who can eat more burgers or something like that, or whatever reason they can make the matchup. I would love to see that. All right. And my last matchup here, I forget. I can't say his name. I can't remember. But it's the sumo wrestler from the Tekken side versus E Honda. I'm rooting for E Honda in this match. The 100 hand slaps and the Oni breaker and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's my list for now. But I want you guys, our audience, give us what your wish list would be. Who you would like to see square off with each other and why. And maybe we can submit these suggestions to Capcom and Ono and see what they think. And for me, it has to have a great story and a good reason for these guys to be fighting each other. So let me know what you guys think. This is Alexlexus. Thank you for subscribing to our show. If you haven't, you're wrong. Subscribe below. I want to thank all of our supporters, Tough Nerd Toys and Modern Gamer, for helping us out. And until next time, this is Alexlexus signing off, and I'll see you next time.